Hello, and welcome to a brief overview of IBM TRIRIGA Lease Management. Logging in as a real estate manager or a lease manager, I'm able to very quickly notice certain things. I have quite a few action items which I can provide approvals on or reviews on. I can take a look at any notifications that I've received via email as well as directly in the system. I can also take a look at any of my lease abstracts in case the company is utilizing an external vendor in order to abstract my leases and does not want to immediately generate the records in the system. I could take a look at my real estate leases. I could look at my asset leases, own property agreements, as well as critical dates. The portal also allows me to generate one-time invoices, process payments, process index adjustments, generate tenant AR invoices, as well as generate receipts. In the center, I have the chart showing me any active lease options. So right away, I could see based on the legend, the blue represents break options as well as the black represents renewal. If I were to click on one of these sections, I can very quickly expose the query showing me the details of these options. Clicking on this slice again removes that list. On the right-hand side, I have my reminders and action items. Right away, I can see I have 6 inactive AP leases expiring within 6 months. This data is actually driven based on the critical dates. So anytime a certain value is reached within the date parameters, these numbers will change and right away bring the user's attention to that section. Let's take a quick look at a real estate lease. Recently, I took a look at a lease which I can quickly access from the last visit section. This section is very convenient for referencing records that I recently looked at. Right away, the lease opens, presenting me with a great deal of detail. In the general section, I have a picture of the actual property. I have the ID, the name, as well as a brief description. I could also see what status the lease is in. The details section provides me a great deal of information related to lease type, the lease category, as well as primary use. It also shows me what is the accounting type that's currently configured for this lease. The critical dates section provides the system the ability to send the user notifications based on certain criteria. The primary location section ties the record to the actual location within the system. Next, you have the primary address, as well as other dates and lease notifications. These notifications get generated automatically once the lease is activated based on the critical dates above, as well as any critical dates within clauses or options. On the contract details tab, I have the actual contacts on this lease, as well as their contact information. These are actual records within the system as well that get associated with this particular record. The tenant section displays the tenant information. Then you have the landlord information, the management company information, guarantor information, as well as the default remit to. All this information comes from the portfolio data within the system. For consistency, once you select the actual record, most of the data will actually populate automatically. The Locations tab provides the user very quick access to view the actual locations that this lease covers. And here you can actually see what is the term from and to, as well as the square footage. The Clauses, Options, and Terms tab allows the user to very quickly see the likely term option. So in this case, it's option number 4. And here we could see all the clauses that are associated with the lease. We have a parking clause, for example, and we can click on that to expand it, and we can actually open the record. Within the record, we can see any additional information, any clause summary information, the section, the page number, and so on. On the Options sub-tab, I can see I have 5 options, and I can see that the 4th option is my likely term. Within the options, there are critical dates as well, and these critical dates will actually drive the lease and update the lease as the options are executed. The Payments tab captures the payment schedules and how often these payments are generated. So in this case, we have monthly payments that are generated. On the Payment sub-tab, I can actually see the individual payments and the payment types. The Payment Instructions tab identifies who pays whom and what is the breakdown of the percentage. Any process payments are captured on this tab. On the Accounting tab, I have all the FASB rules and treatments captured, as well as straight line rent schedules. If there are space use agreements on this particular lease, they're captured on the Space Use Agreement tab. The History tab captures any revisions to the lease. So down here, you can see right away any modifications. The Summary tab gives me a brief summary of what is still owed on the particular lease. If I have any services that the landlord is responsible for, they can be captured here. Any notifications on the lease related to any approvals or actions that were taken on the lease. The Notes and Documents tab gives me quick access to any comments that were added to the lease, as well as any attachments that were populated. So if I were to click on one of the attachments, I could see it's a document containing 4 pages. This may be the actual document, the actual PDF from the lease. Once the lease is activated and the payment line items are generated, we can go ahead and generate a lease invoice. The lease invoice contains some of the information from the lease. So we have the invoice number, we have invoice type. So in this case, accounts payable. We have the total amount due, the due date, the lease it's associated with, the remit to information, as well as any payment line items and their information. The Reports tab gives me the ability to quickly generate the invoice to be sent to the tenant. This invoice can be printed to a PDF in order to be emailed out, or it could be sent via regular mail. The receipts process within TRIRIGA allows the user to capture any payments received for invoices. The receipts record captures the receipt date, the process date, how was it received, was it a check, cash, what is the contract information, what are the payment details, if there are any overpayments or underpayments. If there are any over or underpayments, the system will actually generate additional payment line items which can be captured in the following invoice. There's quite a great deal of capability within TRIRIGA around lease management. This has been a brief overview of the lease management capability and contract management. Thank you for watching.